I tell you another guy who we got it going on here is with my main man who joins us along the eastern seaboard, Zim Who Dey. Zim, what is happening? This is Steeler week. I was reading some of your tweets earlier today, seeing that I am just on social media and just learning that whole thing. You have like tens of thousands of followers on Twitter and Instagram and all these other things. What does Steeler week mean to Zim Who Dey?
First of all, Tom, how are you doing? I missed you, guy.
I missed you, my man. I sent you a text today on whatever they call these things, a message on Twitter, just to say hello and thank you for coming on, and of course you never wrote me back. I mean, you're a lot like my daughter who's off at college, never writes me back.
You gotta just text me directly. Those DMs and messages and stuff get flooded. I can't even keep track of that stuff. But yeah, I missed you. I feel like we had a great start. I'm really excited for Steelers week. I started running clips, going into my archives because I'm the king of receipts, and I just started running back some clips and just playing some of the stuff in my memory bank. And I'm really, really excited. I almost was gonna wear glasses when I came on here, but I said no. We're taking the glasses off. We're going full savage mode. We're going crazy. I'm with Tom, and it's time to lock it in. And my goal is throughout the season that I unlock your inner roar as well too, and we're going to get you fired up.
I'm all for that. I'm all for. At my age, you really need a lot of inner roar. There are a lot of people my age that take pills to find that inner roar. You know what I'm saying, Zim Who Dey?
I'm sure
is that out of line?
All
right. Hey, no. Now, come on now. You got to bring it. You're talking about me bringing it, my inner roar and all this kind of stuff. I mean, Steelers week for you is a big deal, man. I was looking at your stuff today. You got Joe Mixon stats on there. You got quotes from Joe Burrow. I mean, this is a big week, right? Not just because it's the opener. It's the Steelers, and you don't like the Steelers.
I hate the Steelers. Every fiber in my body, thinks about how can I go close a deal because I think this jerk off over here is a Steeler, and all of these different things in my mind that I think are really there, I just equate to Steelers. So here we are, and I'm excited. The thing about those mixing stats and stuff is I love stuff like that because
give us those stats, Zim. Give us those stats because they're really good stats to know, and you pointed out that today on Twitter.
Well, I'll just tell you just really quick. Over the last 2 games, Joe Mixon averaged over 5 yards a carry, gave them 165 yards, ran the ball right down their throats, and they were unable to stop it. The Steelers were the last in the National Football League in rushing yards this past season. People are now waking up today telling me that the Steelers curtain is coming out. I don't see Mean Joe Green. I don't see any of those dudes running out that tunnel. Troy Polamalu isn't there. So I'm still running for 5-point whatever. And I'm still going to truck my way through success. I know a lot of this, the attention goes to the Migos, but I think this is a Joe Mixon game. We set the tone early. You talked about the 4 new offensive linemen. I think that those offensive linemen will be able to push. I think Joe Mixon will fall on 3 yards, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and we can kind of like bury some of that stuff early on.
What do you think? I don't know, because, Zim, you and I are just getting to know each other a little bit. Are you I'm not asking if you're a gambler. I'm asking, though, do you pay attention to point spreads and over-unders and all that kind of stuff? And if so, are you surprised that the Bengals, the point spread is 6.5, one way or the other?
I'm not surprised. I mean, automatically they're going to get the 3 for the home. And I do pay attention to betting lines. I do bet. I bet a lot of player prop stuff. I mean, the writing's on the wall. Last 3 games, Bengals have outscored them, 92-30 something. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, like, the odds are definitely in our favor. Somebody asked me, is this a trap game? And I'm like, you can't be a Bengals fan or a Bengals player and think that you're going to get trapped into, a Steelers game knowing the history of the Steelers and what we've been up against. So, I just don't think there's anything that could catch you off guard in that regard, I guess.
All right, if there's one thing, and I mean, I give you all the credit in the world because you've forgotten more about the Bengals than I will ever know. I mean, you follow this stuff hardcore, and you know your stuff, you know the numbers, you know the history, you know that. Is there anything that concerns you about this game?
It's always the things that you can't control. You know, people ask me about the weather and stuff. I think that could work in their favor because if you have a less talented team, then maybe they can capitalize on mistakes or turnovers. There's always been a history, you know, when you think about 2005, Bengals going with the number one quarterback leading the league in touchdowns, and then he gets his leg torn up on the first series in a game when you're going to dominate the team that you dominated the whole entire season. So there's always this unknown that you just don't know about. Or Ben Roethlisberger running out of a tunnel when you thought he was done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like
I know what you mean.
So you know, like there's going to be calls that probably won't go your way. But I am a big proponent of do not allow the refs. You were just talking about the Rams. Do not give the refs the opportunity to go win a game because unlike college football, these games are really close. Generally, a 10-point game in the NFL is a blowout to me. Like maybe not a blowout, but you won convincingly.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? So so I just think that as long as they just play mistake-free football, then they'll be fine. I do see a world that we live in where maybe Mitch Trubisky gets into the rhythm of a game. He gets into some rollouts, and then the script is there for him. But I think if the Bengals are learning from what they did last year with the Jets with Mike White, you don't play around. You bring the heat, NASCAR package, give them aggression early on, get them flustered, get them outside of the structure of the playbook. That's what makes Joe Burrow so special. You couldn't do that to him. The non-special quarterbacks, you can. Yeah. And you got to do it early and get them thinking. And I think if they do that, they'll be fine.
NASCAR package. Did you get that somewhere or is that yours?
No, that's just when you want to bring the dogs, you want to bring the Jeff.
I like package, that though. I think you ought to patent. I think you ought to patent.
You never heard that before?
No,
that's that. Come on, Tom. That's football talk right there.
Well,
yeah, when you bring in the guys,
smart guys, man. I mean, in football, the years I did the NFL, I mean, Aikman and Billick and all these guys. You like Brian Billick, by the way? I mean, you're right outside of Baltimore. He's on the show with us every single week. They still love him there, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I've never met him personally. I would love to meet him. He seems like a really, really cool dude.
He is a cool dude. Are you going to the game Sunday, or are you going to be watching at home?
You darn right. You know my boy Seho, we're going to be at the tailgate. I would encourage you, if you had some time, just sneak out. You could put on one of those fake mustaches or something like that. Just sneak in, put a hoodie on. We can be jamming over there, Tom. We can have some fun before this tailgate, before you get into the professional world. We can hang out and let that lion, that tiger roar really early, and then we can head over to the game.
Zim, look, I mean, you may know this or may not know this. I've been unemployed for 2 years. So I don't worry anymore about going somewhere and getting recognized or anything like that. And I have always been, if nothing else, a man of the people. I'm out there amongst them, having a cold beer, a whole 9 yards. I'm all for it. So I may come down there this week. Are you going to be coming in for that every week with Brandon? Brandon, jump on here real quick. Are you hosting
He's in the building.
He's in the building. There he is right there next to Casey McCollister.
What's
Say
up?
hello to Zim Who Dey.
What's up?
Hey.
Yeah, so we're hosting the
How's it going, fellas?
We're good. We're hosting the Bengal Block Party with Chatterbox Sports, Cincinnati Entertainment Group. Going to have the big Jumbotron that we take out every Friday night to the high school football games, DJ, sound system, drinking games. Tom, want to come play some Flip Cup?
I'm more of a beer pong guy.
Well, we have that too.
I like Flip Cup. That's okay.
I heard you admitted yourself you're a beer guy. So
I am. I'm a beer guy.
What's the beer of choice? I'm a Coors Light guy.
I love Coors Light.
Well, we can
Love it.
share a case of Coors Light before the Bengals-Steelers and rock on.
You know what beer I like the best is anyone that wants to think about sponsoring this show.
True. Very good. I'll drink anything.
Zim, when you sit here and look and look, this show is only we had Thursday and Friday, off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so it's our fifth show. Okay, we started a week ago today, and I told and asked Casey and Brandon if they could do something to dress up this backdrop because it looks so tired. I mean, it is boring. There's nothing to it. And we have them on the air every week to talk about picks, to talk about tomorrow we're going to get into our, division champs, wild card winners, do our picks for college and pro. And every time we take this shot, that's what you see.
Look, I went and bought frames today. I brought my Steve Logan Jordan Brand jersey, Johnny Bench Stitch jersey.
Nice.
He's going to go right behind us. I got, just give us a little time.
I'm going to get my AJ Green jersey, and we're going to place it right here.
You see, I got my AJ on. This is my lucky shirt. I've only had one defeat in this shirt. I've only lost one game with
Which
this
one
shirt.
was that? What game was that?
I don't want to revisit that, Tom. Don't make me do that.
Please don't tell me that was a playoff game against the Steelers.
No,
They
I
didn't want to
wasn't
revisit
there. That game. I was at Miami rooftop. It was my wife's birthday, January 9th. I fell on the ground and I laid motionless for like 20 minutes. Like, it was one of the worst nights of my life. But that wasn't the night I wore it. I wore this at a game and that we lost. But I'm like 5-1 in this shirt.
Okay. Are you so you're gonna be at the game? You're gonna be at the tailgate, the whole 9 yards. I got to be honest with you, Zim. I mean, you look like you got a nice crib there back behind you, but I mean, there's nothing on the wall there. I don't see any inner roar there. I don't see any of that.
Well, this is the thing. I think, and people asked me this before. Now, I have a room for that, but the sound I don't think is good. I like to be in the comfort of like the kitchen for some weird reason. Yeah. But I'm one of those people. I'm a super purist. So, I'm not bad. I'm not really low on the backdrop that you outlined from those guys right there, because I feel like if they're showing what they got, then they will 100% outweigh the background. I almost think of me as art, and I am the piece. I am when you see me right now, I am the Bengals logo and all of these different things right there. You don't need anything behind me. Here it is, right in your face. You know what you should do, though?
What?
Maybe we should get a Thom Brennaman fathead on the background of the wall over there and just blow your face up really big behind Say Ho and them.
Nope.
Let's do it.
You know, one guy I want to ask you about, because you've gotten to know a lot of these guys, and I thought you said when you were on last week that you've gotten to know a little bit, or maybe a lot, Tyler Boyd.
Right.
Yeah. I want to ask you about him for a minute, and I'm being very serious for a second here. Rare, but true. The way this offense is looked at by the outside world, and even people who are big Bengals fans. The first two guys you think of are naturally Burrow and Chase, rightfully so. Right. Get it. T. Higgins is then next in line, right? And then I think next in line oftentimes is Mixon, okay? And then people talk about what the offensive line wasn't and what it is now after all the changes. You rarely hear people talk about Tyler Boyd. What kind of dude is he?
Man, to me, he's something that if you're a Bengals fan and you want to gravitate to somebody that's just done it the right way, never complain, constant professional, he said, like the kids say, like he got the drip, he's well dressed, he looks good when you see him, you know what I mean? So like all of these things all in one are, to me, what it takes to be like a Bengals fan. You had to go through some stuff to get back up. That's why when we talk trash online to these Steelers fans, they're front runners. The minute they got a little bit of adversity, they're ready to shy away from the truth. They really quit last year in the 24-10 game, and Tyler Boyd came to the podium and let everybody know that, hey, they threw the white flag in, and I was expecting a lot more from them. Because if you're a Bengals fan, you're really looking for everybody's best shot. I want you at full health, because after I win that game, I'm going to tell you 100% that we kicked you and stomped a mud hole into you, and I'm going to tell you a factual statement when I say it. And I think Tyler Boyd lives by those same principles. And you got to think he's a Pittsburgh guy.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Pittsburgh kid. I mean, I'm sure he gets – I was going to ask you, does he get a little bit more fired up for this game?
I don't – see, I'm not one of those guys. I don't really talk too much about, like, football before the game. Like, I'm the guy, like, afterwards. Like, we're celebrating whatever. I don't want, like, them to think, like, trying to tell them, like, hey, I'll say some inspirational, motivational stuff like, hey, man, like, don't worry about this, da-da-da-da. I'll do those kind of talks. But we generally talk about, like, regular stuff, like where we're headed. Like tailgate stuff like that.
I have to tell you, Zim Who Dey, I mean, my son knew you before I knew you a couple of years beforehand, and you're hanging out and doing all these things with these different people. I have never received an invitation for any of those gatherings you have, and that's okay.
Well, I just did that live on air.
That's all right.
Hold on, live on air. We just our open invitation. I didn't even know Say Ho. This is how you know I'm a true friend. your true friends will talk directly to you and
Yes.
say, whatever, anything, right?
Yes, yes.
But the good ones, the really good ones, will talk about you in good standing behind your back. I didn't even know Seho was in the building. I said, hey, look, you need to hang out with us. And I didn't even know he was there. But that was the open invitation, and check us out. Now on Sunday, we're going to rage together, and we're going to start it up right now. Now that MacBook Pro, that's a different conversation that we can have.
Well, tell me about it. What are your thoughts about it? I mean, they just walked in. They surprised me from First Star Logistics. They're not even a sponsor of the show yet.
Whoa.
But they bring this in here. I mean, I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I announced the Reds games for however many years. I never received anything like this. This is really, really nice.
I feel like you had too many, and I feel like you got a good friend you're talking to right now.
Yeah, you see this computer right here, Zim? Okay. My good friends at Encore Technologies, among the many, many, many thousands of clients they have, one of their clients is Cincinnati Children's Hospital, okay? One of the most famous children's hospitals in the world. And they replace their computers, it's my understanding, at Cincinnati Children's Hospital like every 2 years, right? So this is a used computer that I just bought like 2 weeks ago. I'm not a big – I use them. I'll surf the internet a little bit. All right, but back to football for a second. Prediction for the game. What are you thinking?
I want them to come out of the game, win, lose, or draw healthy. I'm not a real big
my
score
God,
guy.
Zim. We don't have you on this show for stuff like that. I mean, that's not why you're here.
I'm not a big score guy. I'm a little superstitious with the scores, but I do think that the Bengals do win by 2 scores, though. I don't have a score prediction. Is that good?
Okay.
Is that good?
No, that's good. That's good. So you think the Bengals would cover the spread? 2 scores could be a touchdown and a field goal, touchdown and a safety, whatever it might be. You think they cover in the game and on they go. Any predictions? Are you going to be watching the game tonight, right? Buffalo against the Rams?
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know if this is wrong or not, but I just want to see the Rams. Maybe you tell me how you feel. I want to see the Rams stomp a mud hole in the Bills. Because all season, all I've heard is that the Bills are the favorites to win it all. I get their division, but like they talk about them as though they're conference champs. Wouldn't that be something for the Rams to just pile drive them tonight? That's just my overall look.
Well, you remember big old Reuben Brown, right? He's a 9-time Pro Bowl offensive lineman with the Buffalo Bills, a guard, great player, college football Hall of Famer, probably should be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He does a lot of work in Buffalo on television and radio now, so he's going to be on the show today at 11:35 Eastern Time. So I'm sure we'll hear a whole boatload about how great the Bills are. You're right. It's everybody talking about the Buffalo Bills and how great they're going to be. They had that heartbreaking loss last year in the conference semis when their defense couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm with you. I'm not, and I'm going to tell Ruben this when he's on. I'm not buying them. I'm not
either. Tom, have you ever looked at their schedule? Did you see who they played this past season?
Yeah, and not only that, Zim, I read the other day in one-score games, and again, I'm going to ask Reuben Brown about this. In one-score games last year, they were 0-6.
The Bengals, I'm told every day of my life, caught people by surprise. It was luck. The Bengals were undefeated against AFC playoff opponents going into the playoffs. They didn't catch anybody off guard. What the Bills failed to do with Patrick Mahomes, the Bengals did that twice. The previous year before then, they failed to do the same thing against the Chiefs again. The Bengals did that twice, with their defense doing it in convincing fashion in the second half of those football games. Jamar Chase probably having the best performance of the whole entire season. But yet I wake up to Bills beating the Jags and Falcons and all these teams, and they have won 4 games in the playoffs in the last 25 years, but somehow they're the favorites. I don't get it. Somebody's got to explain it to me.
Well, dial us in. I know you're busy today, but when Reuben Brown comes on, he'll be on 11:35. Maybe he'll convince you and me otherwise. I don't know. Zim, I will look forward to seeing you this Sunday. Safe travels. Godspeed coming back into the Natty. And can't wait to see you and Brandon Seho and the whole gang from Chatterbox out there. Pre-game, that's down by Longworth Hall, right?
Yeah, wait, are you coming down now? You just committed?
Well, I got to talk to my son first. It all depends.
I'll bring the Coors Light, Tom.
My
You're good.
son, Zim Who Dey, my son is out caddying. We have an LPGA event here in Cincinnati this week, and he's caddying. It's been his summer job all summer long, carrying bags and schlepping around in 95-degree heat. But God bless him. He's worked his tail off, made a lot of money. But he's fortunate enough to do this thing in the ladies' LPGA event. So I'm hoping that he's working Sunday because Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. You ever heard that term?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So
Speaking of heat, did you know that in LA and Cali right now they're in the middle of a heat wave itself too?
Yeah.
So like right now tonight that game is going to be literally on fire.
Yeah, and you know what we found out yesterday, Zim, if you can believe this? They built a $5 billion stadium, right? SoFi Stadium. There's no air conditioning in that stadium.
I found that out during the Super Bowl. The half glass or whatever.
Yeah.
I was standing under it, like an X-Men or something like that. Just the sun rays are just beaming on your head. I was like, why am I sweating? I thought like this game, it's like 70-some degrees. The sun is just shooting through the roof all day.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful stadium though.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. You've been there. You went to the Super Bowl. It's great stuff. All right, Zim, thank you for your time. I know you're busy. You got a lot going on. When you traveling into Cincinnati? Tomorrow? Tonight? What are you doing?
I'm actually coming first thing Saturday morning.
Okay. All right. Well, safe travels, my man. Great having you with us as always.
See you at the tailgate. He committed, guys. He committed. We got him. Get the footage.
I did not commit.
He committed.
No. Zim's a man. He's going to be there. Boy, I love having that dude on. For those of you that missed it, I told the story. My son says to me about 2 years ago, I think, maybe even 3 years ago, I don't know, when the Bengals stink. Let's put it that way, right? And he says to me, Dad, you got to check out this guy Zim Who Dey. Okay, and I'm watching him, and he's streaming while he's watching the Bengals game, and more times than not, getting their tails kicked. And Zim had the hair like down to here, and he's totally into it. I loved his fire, loved his passion, loved the whole thing. I really love those kind of people, men or women that got the fire and the passion for something. Those are the people I want to be around in my life. I don't know about you, but I love the guy the second that my son showed him. But then when he comes on for the first time last week, Brandon, Casey, he looks like he just got a haircut like he was going into the military. I didn't even recognize the dude.
I think it looks fresh.
Yeah. I think he looks great. Clean. I really do, but imagine my surprise when he had the hat. Remember I asked him the other day, take off the hat, let the hair down. The hair is gone. That was his thing, right? Part of his shtick.
Yeah, you used to have longer hair, though, too, right?
Well, I had hair. That's not a fair question. It's not a fair question coming from a 30-something-year-old to a almost 59-year-old. I got my 59th birthday next week.
Are we going to bring a cake in here, or we could celebrate?
I'm hoping first I'll bring another computer.
We could celebrate at the tailgate. You already committed. You and I are going to be beer pong partners with Coors Light down at the Bengal block party. How do you feel about you said beer pong was your game. You and I could run the table.
I didn't say it was my game.
You said you were more of a beer pong guy than flip cup.
Although flip cup's a fun game. That's a fun game.
We could play both.
See, I'm in the generation where it was all about quarters.
Quarters? I knew you were going to say that.
That was one of the great games of all time. Still is a great game. Yeah. I think there's still some people out there.